All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Good Pickins, a reseller podcast with myself, Nabyar. Some people call me Ray. Over there is Marcus Dixon
What up? What
Pickins.
up?
How's everyone doing tonight? Sorry, we were like 1 minute late. We had some technical difficulties, but it's all good. We're here. We're here. We're vibing. We're feeling good. How are you feeling tonight?
Pretty good, man. I just left the gym. I didn't get to get as good of a session in as I would have liked to, but man, something's better than nothing, honestly.
That's facts. That's facts. I've been so pressed for time lately that I've actually just been using my stationary bike in the living room,
Yeah,
and I watch I watch other YouTubers
yeah.
as I'm pedaling in the living room.
Right. Yeah, I do that from time to time. So like when I'm on the elliptical, I watch like fitness YouTube. It's kind of hard to watch YouTube while I'm working out, like
Yeah,
actually lifting.
yeah,
So I put on something that's listenable. So yeah, man, definitely use it for the motivation.
yeah, for sure, for sure. What's up, Tiffany? By the way,
What's up, Tiffany?
congrats on being an A1, the number one
Yep.
in our hearts and in our minds. Oh
Yeah,
man.
man.
Yeah, so you went to the bins on Monday. Did you get any bangers? I get well, actually, should we talk about that? I don't know. I don't know if we should talk about that, considering that could be an episode. I don't know.
It's in an episode. Yeah, I did find a banger,
Okay,
but I put it out on uh, TikTok and Instagram and YouTube in the short. So
cool.
uh, if you're curious, you can go check there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. If you guys aren't following us on our Instagrams, definitely do that. That's the main channel that we sort of go through. Also, Ed, thank you for letting us know. It's because Marcus had to go back to his other microphone. Um, so yeah, we're trying to figure it out.
So, let's see.
Okay. At least it sounds better on my end. I think we should be good. You look good in the mixer, so
Hmm.
I think you're good now. Fingers crossed.
Well, Tiffany says I'm crackling.
No, you're good now. You're good now. You were for a second there.
Are you sure?
Yes, at least on my
Uh,
end.
Let me
Oh
know,
no,
guys.
there it goes again.
Uh,
Huh?
let me just turn it off.
You can switch over to your other microphone too if you want.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Is it clear?
Uh, yeah. It's not cackling or crackling. Not cackling.
Well, I switched it to the webcam microphone. Let me know if it messes up again, and I'll
Okay.
tinker with some more.
Well, I
I
mean,
don't know what's going
as
on
long
with my
as long as
setup.
it's as long as it's not crackling, we'll get it
Right.
we'll get it sorted out. We'll get it sorted out for sure.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being patient, though, guys.
For sure. Yes, exactly. Well, we all know the community's patient,
Yeah, yeah, in
You
most
got
aspects.
you guys are. You guys are.
Uh,
Can I actually just on the realm of talking about community, on the topic of community, some of you guys that have followed our channel for a while like know that we almost got banned from the Goodwill bins, and it's staticky, by the way. I don't know why.
on my end,
Yeah, on your end.
oh, I'm not even doing anything.
I'm doing nothing. Come on, technology.
Let's see.
I mean, you could try plugging in your old microphone back in and seeing if that's any better, but up to you. Just while I tell the story. No, I think this is important for Marcus to hear as well. So I'll wait to tell the story. But have anyone in chat? Have you guys had any bangers this week as far as reselling or collecting or anything like that? Just out of curiosity. We've just had a lot of good bread and butter. What's up, Sonny? By the way. Well, it was coming through. It was coming through on my end, so I don't know. Either way, we'll get it figured out. He's got his other microphone plugged in, so we just need to dial in. We need to dial in the other microphone.
All right. Well, what about now?
Wonderful. You sound great.
Okay.
Cool.
Is cackling, crackling still there?
No,
Okay.
you're
We'll
good.
see how long this lasts.
Well, I honestly do think it's just like so that there's like a couple dials on your microphone, correct?
Yeah, well, I just plugged that microphone in though.
Okay. Well, this is something we'll just have to deal with off air, and we'll figure
Right,
out how to dial those in and make sure that everything sounds smooth. So,
right.
but yeah, what's up, Sonny, and what's up, Ed? Thank you
Hey, what's up,
again
Sonny?
for being
Ed?
patient with us.
Yeah.
Ed said I got a bunch of negative comments on my recent video, but other than that, I haven't sourced. I only source on Saturdays. Now, what do you mean negative comments?
Yeah, about what? People just love throwing shade, man.
Yeah, that's interesting. But anyway, something that's opposite of negative is, so if you guys have watched my channel for a while, like, you know that we basically got conspired against to get banned from the Goodwill bins because we were
Yeah.
filming content inside there.
Green
Well,
sock cap.
one of the people that was, I think, part of that group, or at least somebody that was aggressive towards us, like, had made comments about us being banned, or why were we in there because they thought we were banned, sort of thing,
Mhm.
blah blah blah. So I'm there, I'm sitting there doing my homework in the bins today, and I look just out, whatever, just scanning the room, and this guy, the guy that I'm talking about, like, makes eye contact with me and smiles at me, and I was like, that guy has never smiled at me. Like, what is going on? He starts walking over towards me, and I'm like, all right, this is just
here we go.
Yeah, I was like, all right, man, like, we're going to do this today, I guess, or something. Because I've been doing books, and he is primarily a book reseller. So I was like, this could be something about me getting books. But he comes up, he introduces himself. I'm like, yo, I'm Ray. What's up, man? Like, and he's like, I just wanted to apologize to you about being aggressive towards you in the past. Like, he's basically was just like, I was projecting my anger that I thought that I had towards the TikTok and YouTube communities that were doing reselling. And he was like, I honestly did think that this whole thing would be run over by, people coming from those sources and like doing this and that. And he was just like, I'm really sorry that I was that way. And like, I don't know, man. Like, dude, like, I hope that whatever, like, anger that he was having at that time, or whatever, thoughts that he was having at that time, like, are now better.
This is green sock cap guy, right?
No.
Okay.
Different person.
Say, I don't see that guy being humble at all.
Dude, because, like, it was... Oh, funny story about that guy is he showed up in my garage sale a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
We kind of made amends, honestly, because, like, I tossed him a couple cassettes, like, a few months back, and, like, he was very receptive to it, like, kind of an olive branch sort of deal. But anyway, he rolled up and he was like, I recognize you. And I was like, hey, what's up, man? Like, I actually don't have anything for sale that you look for, which is mainly just records. And he was like, oh, all right, well, see ya. And then he just walked away. But anyway, it was just a really out of left field thing to happen. And I felt it was so sincere. And
that's awesome, man.
It took me back. Like, it took me back because you just don't get that sort of interaction a lot,
right?
Especially in the bins. Like, a lot of people are just like, mind their own business, stay on the grind, get in, get out. Like, so it was just a really refreshing thing, and I felt like I had to share that with you guys. So
yeah, man, I'm glad you got some positive vibes in there today, especially in St. Louis, man, where it's just a heartless city at times. You know what I mean? So
all right, hold on.
I said at times in certain demographics. Now, not the whole town, because I'm from there too. But there's a grimy underbelly of St. Louis.
Well, isn't that every Midwest city though? Like,
I think that's every city, period.
I mean, that's
every
true.
City's got its gutter grimy sections. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
The underbelly realm of it. But yeah, man,
for sure. All right, let's catch
Ed
up. Ed
says his video that he was getting shade about was, let's see, he said about a return on some shoes where I showed the flaws and everything, but they returned it using iNet, and I retaliated on the buyer. How did you retaliate on said buyer? Did you do something that was like within character morale? Because then, it doesn't matter what people say.
Well, how can you retaliate against a buyer whenever it's within eBay's guidelines to do so, right? I mean, Am
Right.
I being off base with that? Like,
I can assume, that maybe he said something like out of pocket, you know what I mean,
oh, okay,
in a
yeah. I mean,
retaliation.
yeah. I mean, if you sent them a nasty message,
Yeah.
I could see you getting some shade on that for sure. But if it
Right.
was like within the confines of like eBay's guidelines, like you can't hate somebody for that, you know.
He said he reported their listing because they were using stock photos. It's hard to explain everything in the chat. Yeah,
Okay.
I probably would have gave you some negative shade over that too, because that's, I mean, that's kind of petty. But I mean, that's not my business to say anyway. I mean, I probably shouldn't have said that just now. But
Well,
to each their own. You know what I mean? That's what you want to do,
I think the situation is also more nuanced if Ed is saying that
right?
they can't explain everything in chat. So,
I
I
think he
mean,
just doesn't want to go through, sentence back and forth. It'd
yeah.
be different if he were here on the live with us to be
Yeah,
able to tell his story.
yeah, exactly. So like if any of us or like if anybody in chat is like judging Ed, maybe let's get the full story before we,
Right.
but anyway, Ed, I mean I you know, uh
This is the thing, though, right? Every one of us are going to get ticked off by a buyer, at some point in time, especially when it's a false INAD. I'm guilty of it myself. Case in point, I don't know if you heard, but on my Tuesday call or on my Tuesday live, I was saying about how I got a false INAD open about measurements. And the
mhm.
person was saying that they used a clothing measuring tape instead of a yardstick like I do. So their measurements were right and mine were off by an inch.
Oh,
So, of course, that's not a real INAD. That's just a doesn't fit return. You know what I mean? So I
right.
could have gotten mad and blew the person down in the comments, like, wah, 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 Hulk smash, but that's number one, it's not going to help anything. Number two, the negative or the return is still going to be a false INAD, right? So me messaging the buyer doesn't change anything in any aspect. So all I can do is just be calm, move on, wait for the item to come back, and then only refund the buyer's original purchase. Withhold the shipping. That automatically opens a return or a claim by eBay on the buyer for misuse of the return policy. So that's all I can do. There's no need of me getting upset about it or, like jumping down in the messages like, yo, what's up? You want static? You know what I mean? Like, that's
Right.
not going to help. It's going to make me more upset, give me negative vibes, and I ain't with all that.
No, I mean listen, I think you handled that the correct way. Like, I mean, you're going to have the cost of doing business
Yeah.
no matter what. So
Yeah.
like you might as well just chug on and just keep on moving, dude. Like
Right, right,
there's,
right.
it's so Sonny said $500 sale on McDonald's pins that I bought for $30 at the flea market.
Yeah, I
Supposedly the
seen that,
buyer
man.
wants to buy another $500 worth. That is
That's what's
crazy,
up.
Sonny.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned the McDonald's pins a couple podcasts ago. Did you not?
Hmm.
That's incredible, dude. Tracy said I sold a bundle of 15 yards for 100 and a quilt for 100. I also found yesterday a vintage Woolrich Buffalo plaid
Buffalo
hunting
plaid.
coat
No.
worth about the same. Yeah, nice, nice. The I'm sure that coat is pretty cool, and
Yeah.
I think it's really cool that you're selling yarn too, like and quilts.
Yeah, I seen Flippy McFlipperson sold a bunch of like vintage yarn for a lot of money too, man. You
That's
never know.
wild, dude.
Yeah.
That's something you and I have probably passed over a million times.
Right. Well, I've been
You
giving it
know.
to this guy to make the
Oh
quilts
yeah,
and hats for,
yeah,
so he
yeah.
probably got,
For the charity thing.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
No, that's awesome. What's up, Steve? By the way, great to
What up,
meet you.
Steve?
Meet you today. I will be posting
Yeah.
your picture all over the Goodwill bins, so everybody
Yes.
knows what you look like.
Slap that thing on some milk cartons, man.
Have you seen Missouri Outdoors and Reviews?
Right.
Oh
Last
man.
seen at the bins.
Sonny said that's good info and rare to hear anyone apologize about anything nowadays when it comes
Yeah.
to those against resellers. Well, here's the thing: is he's a reseller too. He
Right.
was just mad that somebody was creating content and he felt like that would overrun.
Giving away all the secrets.
Yeah, and like we've said this a bazillion times.
Yeah.
And I honestly, if I was petty, I would have just fired back at him and been like, "Yeah, you now realize that the Goodwill bins are not a secret, right? Like,
Mhm.
with
Everybody knows.
or without social media,
Right.
like without these social platforms, the bins would still be known about." But anyway, I was just like, "Yeah, thank you, man. Like, yes, I respect and I think that's huge of you what you're doing and so on and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
forth." So Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Ed said, sounds like me. I stay to myself whenever I go to the bins or my flea markets. He said his section is Skid Row. I,
All
I,
right.
yeah.
All right.
He. Let's see. Dana, what's going on?
Yeah.
How
What's
you
up,
doing? She
Dana?
says hi, Marcus and Ray. Yeah.
Every
No. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say everybody doesn't change their name color except for Tiffany. Well, I guess Tiffany does have the moderator status, so that's probably why.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes I get confused there. What's up, Kristen?
Hey, Kristen.
How's it
What's
going?
going on? He said he did message the buyer that they used a false INAD and that I'm going to report them for it. They messaged me back saying that I threatened them. After that, I stopped messages. Yeah,
Yeah, you probably did the right
smart
thing.
move.
Yeah. Yep.
Smart move.
Yeah. I mean,
Abort.
at that point, you're just gonna have to let eBay deal
Handle
with
it.
that.
Yep.
Exactly. Because, it's it's not gonna do you any good to fight a battle with eBay being the big brother there and handling things at the end of the day.
Hence the
So
reason why I never message the buyers in a sticky situation like that.
exactly. Exactly. Yep. I think that's, better off just letting things just roll off your back,
Plus, man, you don't want to let your feelings make, it's like, man, I don't want to get too spiritual, man, but the Bible says to like think before you speak because it's stuff exactly like that.
Yeah.
So keep it
Yeah.
moving.
Yep, exactly.
Sorry about the noise, man. I got to get the
Damn, I
last
feel
of
like
my.
I should start dancing,
I got to get the last of my protein shake out of there, man. That thing's thick. It's a new protein powder. It's like drinking mud, like literally.
Oh, dude, that's actually how
But it tastes good
we
though.
have some like peanut butter protein powder.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's always like because I mix it in with my regular stuff sometimes if
Yeah.
I want it to be more of like a meal replacement.
Yeah.
And dude, it's just very
It's thick, definitely.
I don't know. It's weird.
It's tasty though.
Yeah, it is tasty. It is tasty. Dana said, "I got to return because the flannel, and this is a direct quote. It's not real flannel because it needs to be thicker." Okay,
Dude.
okay,
Yeah. I had someone
that's
leave
crazy.
me positive feedback, right? They were saying the shirt's nice, but it's more of a sweater instead of a top. The title says Talbot's sweater knit in the title. You know what I mean? Like it's whatever knit that it was. I can't remember, the exact knitting.
Yeah,
But, that implies that it's a sweater. It's listed in the sweater category, and the second word in the title is sweater. I, I replied, hey, glad you're, somewhat satisfied with the item. However, I don't know where I implied that it was anything but a sweater since the title literally called it a sweater.
that's
I mean?
that's mind-boggling. Like it'll never stop blowing my mind. Like the reasons that we as resellers get some returns. Like honestly, it's like it's aggravating, but it's also just like funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Also, really quick, have you tried to move your mic directly in front of you to try the?
Yeah, it was causing problems because I was touching the wire and I guess the wire was shorting.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll figure it out. You were
Well,
just clipping.
let's see.
Your audio was clipping just a little bit, but
That's why I don't know, man. Like that's what Hillary was saying the other day.
gotcha. Well, at least it's not crackling.
Yeah, but it's still annoying.
We'll figure it out, man. We'll figure it out.
Yep.
On a flannel nightgown. Okay, I see. What's up, Hillary?
What's up, Hillary?
What's going on? A lot of people pass over yarn, and most is not worth reselling. I mean, that's where it comes down to like, the knowledge base that you have. I mean, I'm sure there's so many people that get into like video game reselling and they find all these sports games and they go, "Yeah, I got games," and it's like, no,
Nah,
you have
you
sports
don't.
games.
Yeah.
you have coasters, my friend.
Right. Cape Cod resellers going on, Dennis.
What's up, Dennis? Saw a Facebook post asking which YouTuber is good to watch and learn, and a bunch of people were bashing the poster and people for making content. They really hate us. I just don't even know where to begin with people bashing somebody. First of all, for asking a very innocent question, but also the fact that there are so many YouTubers out there who put out information for free.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how anyone could. I don't know. That's
The thing is, man, is like reselling as a thing is getting bigger. You know what I mean? The space is growing, the content is growing, the creator section is growing, the information is growing. So for, the ones that have been around for a while, I can see how like they don't like it. I can see how they feel that space is shrinking. I get it. Same time, like all good things, you know, rub off, see good, see success, and they're like, hey, I want some of that too. So at the end of the day, man, especially if you've been in the game 20 years or you've been in the game for any amount of time, you got connections, you got sourcing routes, you got ways to maintain through anything. And if you made it through COVID, you can make it through this.
yeah, yeah. That's facts. I mean, I do see that. You know, that sort of mentality happening. I mean, that same thing can happen on a corporate level too, right?
That's what I'm saying. With anything.
With anything for sure. But I think also reselling is unique, especially in the United States, because we are such consumers, because we are so materialistic of a society,
Yeah.
that like there's never not going to be things to
Right.
resell, and B, also people to consume the things
Right.
that you're reselling.
Right.
So like, I don't know.
Yep.
Those people are ignorant. But I'd also like to know where you saw that Facebook post. Was it just like a friend, or was it like in a group?
It's probably one of those Facebook groups because your random Facebook thread isn't going to be like reseller posts
I mean, that's
unless
true.
you follow a bunch of resellers. You
That's
know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah, that's very true.
So, like, I don't know. Uh, let's see. I've sold far before too that alpaca can be money. What does that mean, Kristen?
Yeah, I
Yarn?
think
You've
did we
sold
did.
yarn before, maybe?
Oh yeah, probably.
Okay.
Alice Starmore. Okay, I'm gonna have to put that in my brain. Alice Starmore. Ask me next.
Chances are I'll look right past it. Like,
Ask
oh, there's yarn.
ask me next week on the podcast if I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah,
Alice
I'll forget to ask
Starmore.
you.
How many times do you have to say a name before you remember it?
I think 3.
I feel like for me personally it's 3, but I think that the general consensus is 3.
Right.
You know.
Mm. Ed says like those INAD return where the reason says doesn't fit. Come on, eBay. It literally says right there that the real reason was for fit. Yeah, that's true. But those are easy cases to win too.
I was gonna say, like, as a person sort of wading into the waters of reselling clothing, you can fight that, right? Like pretty easily, correct?
Yeah. So this is the thing, man. Like clothing does have a fair amount of returns. Like right now, I have 8 returns open.
Wow.
Right. Uh, most of them are for doesn't fit, except for the one INAD where the person, it's a false INAD. I have another one for just didn't like. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But the thing is, even I put measurements in the photos, I put measurements in the description and in the condition description. You know what I
Right.
mean? And people still don't even bother to look at the photos. So
Yeah.
you're going to be able to do all you can and still get returns on clothing items. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, man, this is just part of the game. Clothing is a higher return, just like electronics is a higher return category.
Yeah.
So just as long as you go into it with the mind frame of doing what you can to make your listings the best that you can, and just don't let it get you upset, you'll be all right.
I mean, I feel like I've been doing the things you just said, so I feel good.
Yeah.
If you guys
Yeah.
don't know, if you guys are new to my channel or just the podcast in general, I've never really looked at clothing at all unless it was very specific, like banger pieces that I know I could sell for like 30, 50, like whatever or more dollars.
Right.
So like it's been it's been nice to have Marcus as a resource. It's been very nice to have that the master senpai looking over my shoulder and guiding me to make good decisions in the clothing reselling
And
section of things.
there's going to be returns, especially when you're selling items that, I'm not going to say volume, but like I sell, over 100 items a week. So it's not strange that I'll get like a return or two a week. You know what I mean? Because, uh, especially like with jeans, something that shrinks, something that's like all cotton, it's going to shrink. You know what I mean? So, just be mindful that of the certain items that you pick up, especially vintage items, are going to shrink, and people aren't necessarily looking at the measurements. They're looking at what your title says. So like, say if you got a pair of jeans that are size 32 32 just for numeric value, but really they've shrunk to a 30 30 because they've been washed and dried. If you don't put like 30 32 actual in parentheses 30 30, they're just gonna take it what the tag says and at face value. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like if you give yourself the opportunity to inform them in the title, this is what the tag says, but this is what it really is. And then in the item description or in the item specifics, I'll put the actual measurements of the garment. That, it can help slow down returns, but like I said, people ain't reading all that. They're not looking at pictures. They look at the first picture and then they'll ask you, "Hey, what's the information that you have on the third photo that I haven't even bothered to look at?"
Yeah, I think that it's important that there's just a level of human ignorance there.
Yeah.
Right? So like it's either ignorance to not do the research before you buy the item and then you get messages like that, or they buy the item, they get the item and they go, "Yo, this doesn't fit correctly." Then they go on the listing and they go, "Oh, it was there." Yeah. And then they to not feel stupid or embarrassed or whatever it may be, they go, "Oh, you didn't do this right. You did something incorrect." Where they're projecting their mess up onto you.
Definitely.
So I don't know. It happens. But also, speaking of clothing, let's do the channel blow up.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it. This week, the channel blow up is our pal Bo Johnson. Bo Johnson is someone who has been in the community for a while. And honestly, the one thing that really strikes me about Bo's content is the quality of production that he has.
Yeah.
Bo's production is really, really good. Guys, like if you aren't watching him, you really need to, especially if you're into clothing. I can't recommend it more for a clothing channel. I actually really like the property that Bo lives on too. Like it's very serene. It's like very relaxing, like country setting property. Yeah. He's got like the eBay shed where he keeps all his inventory and all that. So
like mountain vibes, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit. So yeah.
But man, his content, it's more like talking head, like not necessarily like only talking head, but it's like him in front of the camera, but it's like good editing with like overlays and lots of scene switches, so it keeps your attention, lots of value, lots of information that's helpful information. And it's not like speaking as a matter of factly, it's speaking from his experience. So it's not like he's like, "I know everything." He's like, "This is what I did, maybe you can learn from my mistakes or from my methods." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's definitely good content.
Yeah, and I think it is important to say that Bo is very much like, he's down to earth. He's
a humble guy.
He's a humble guy, and like he gives you the good brands. Like he helped me out the other week with that Arc'teryx brand. Yeah, I was just gonna call it Arc because I can never remember how to pronounce it. But so I put his link in the chat though, guys. Make sure you drop him a sub or whatever, and tell him where you came from.
Yeah, man.
Tell him where you came from. But let's get back to some chat. Haters gonna hate. I don't waste my brain space with them. I got stuff to do. Yeah, that there's really no better advice than that. But I also think it's hard to overcome that sometimes. And I think those are just natural feelings as a seller. Like you're going to get those feelings. You're going to feel like I want to message something nasty to this person. But but like Marcus said earlier, like you need to just take a breath and step back from the situation for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Go do another activity for like 30 minutes and then revisit it, because
Right.
you're going to feel different about it.
Yep. It's not even going to matter in 30 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
And then what you got to realize is in 2 weeks from now, are you going to even remember what the item was that you got that
Oh yeah,
for? You know what I mean?
for sure. For sure.
I mean, unless
Absolutely.
you're doing like 2 or 3 items a day or maybe 5 a week, yeah, it'll matter then. But in the grand scheme of things, you got to just let it roll off your back, man, and
Yeah.
on to the next one. Increase your amount of sales, and that stuff won't even matter, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Ed said that it was in a group. But like, was the group reseller focused? I guess was that.
It was probably one of those like Harry Tornado or like Boss Reseller Remix groups or something like that.
Well, I was gonna
That's why like
say if.
I joined those, but I stopped even being active in them.
Well, it wouldn't make sense if it was a group about a content creator though, because if they're bashing content creators, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, it was probably just like
Well, it
a.
was probably a reseller group that has content creators in it, but the group is about reselling in general, not about
Yeah.
content creating resellers.
Yeah.
Like
No. That.
Harry Tornado's group is about content creating resellers as well as just normal resellers that like Harry Tornado.
Yeah.
So like he's got a positive vibe about him. So he attracts like-minded people. However, that doesn't mean that everyone that watches his content are supportive of what he does. You know
Sure.
what I mean? But
Sure.
usually if you take the time to go out of your day to join a group of someone that you follow, you're going to be a supporter, you know what I mean? So I'd assume that it's probably just like because I'm a member of a thrifter reseller world group. I don't think there's very many content creators in there because they don't even allow you to share YouTube links in there. So I'm thinking that that's one of those content creator anti groups. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I feel like that's the group or that's the type of group that Ed is talking about, more
Yeah,
than likely.
right.
So yeah, that sounds accurate for sure. Bo's videos are awesome. Yeah, go check them out. Seriously.
Definitely.
Ed said, I always remember the bad ones, but I do let it go after a while. Yeah, you got to.
Yeah.
Reseller focus. Yeah, I mean, if like a
Yeah.
group is focused on just like pure reselling, like look at
Yeah.
the people like that are at your local thrift stores or your bins or whatever. Like there's a lot of people that are grinders, resellers, but they
Mhm.
absolutely either don't care or hate the fact that Marcus and I make content about it. Like
Yeah.
there's going to
Yeah.
be those people, you
Yep.
know? So, yeah.
Roger, what's going on, Roger? What was your number of listings on eBay before you guys were getting consistent sales? Uh,
Man, that's a good question.
so I think for me, it was around 100 items. I was getting daily sales.
Yeah,
Um,
that sounds
at
right.
least just one a day. And that didn't take very long, honestly, for me to get 100 items. But the thing you're going to want to focus on is not the amount of items you have, but the quality of items you have. So
Yeah.
you can have 10 quality items and sell one a day if they're what people are looking for. But with that being said, you're going to have to spend way more time looking for those types of items and than you will listing. So, it just depends on how picky you are, how not desperate you are, uh, how bad you need the money. Because these are all determining factors. You know what I mean? So like if you're doing this to pay your bills tomorrow, you're gonna suffer. You know,
That's facts.
so
That's yeah, cuz
unfortunately, I probably don't have the information you want to hear.
I mean, well, we were talking about it last episode how, you need to like set up a platform for yourself before you take this leap
Mhm.
into reselling. So, I mean,
Yep.
yeah, it is very important to understand that, like, if you are struggling already financially, you need to go out and
Get you a
buy.
day job.
Well,
That's what you
I
need to do.
mean, let's not be harsh here, but I mean,
Right.
yeah, sure, that would help you. But if you were absolutely like hungry, you need to find the closest local Goodwill bins, and you need
Mhm.
to buy $5 to $10 items like it is going
Yep.
out of style,
Yep.
and list consistently. I
Yeah.
will say, like, when I started out, I was doing a ton of video games, so like
Mhm.
I was probably getting more consistent sales even under 100 items. But those are video games, like
Right.
they
That's a hot category.
it's a hot category, but they're also harder to find. So
Mhm.
like you got like it's exactly like what Marcus said. Like
Yep.
if you are willing, if you have the time and the resources to source more quality items, by all means do that. But if you're struggling financially, like and you need to get the ball rolling. You need to find those
Yeah.
$5 to $10 items. You need to
Yep.
find the Levi 550s and the iRobot charging docks of the
Right.
world.
Or one of the things that I did when I was first starting out was the Amazon return stores, like the bin stores, not the Goodwill bin stores, but the Amazon return stores.
Yeah,
Those were like a staple in me getting my business started because some of that stuff was never even opened. It was just bought and returned. So, with that being said, you got to be careful at the stuff that appears to be new in box
for
because the
sure.
stores usually tape some of that stuff up. So I was buying that stuff and then just listing it, not testing it or nothing because I assumed that it was new in the package. And I got a return or two. I mean, nothing like I do with clothing, but still, at that point in time, I couldn't afford any returns.
Yeah,
So just whatever niche or whatever category you do decide to choose, or if you do just want to do some of everything, find items that are going to sell quick. It doesn't even really matter how many items you do have listed, as long as what you're listing is good.
yeah, and list consistently.
Yep.
That's pretty much it. There is
Yep.
no there
There's no
isn't
formula
there
besides that.
yeah, exactly. There's no like magic sauce or anything. So
Yep.
Ed said there's some groups that don't allow any YouTube links at all. Yeah, I mean, I
Yep.
get it. Like if they're very much just wanting to focus on the aspect of reselling and they don't want any of like, the comedy or any of the other noise that content
Mhm.
creators involve in their craft, then I
Yeah.
get that. No ill will towards them, but like they could also learn something from us.
Yeah.
So, uh Tracy said you should anticipate selling 1% of your items listed each day. 100 items listed should you sell you one item a day. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
In
probably
theory, that's good.
yeah,
That's the
that's
good
that's
math.
yeah, that's a good formula. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Dana said most of the clothing resellers on Poshmark with channels don't let you share your link. Oh,
Share your link where? On
oh yeah.
Poshmark? I didn't know you could share your
Is it
links.
well? Isn't Poshmark doesn't don't they have like some sort of like social aspect to it?
They do, but I mean, I don't know anything about sharing links or anything like that.
Because I think that's what she's implying is that like yeah.
Possibly.
So because I think Poshmark is the one that has like more of a social thing to it.
Yeah. Uh, Hillary said, I found that consistent sales come with consistent listing, not a specific number of items. I've had less than 100 items and made daily sales because I was listing every day. But Hillary also is very selective about the items that she picks up, too. She's not picking up garbage just to get listings up. You know what I mean? So that's also something that said it's shows or it said, constraint, discipline, not being desperate, like I said, goes a long way in reselling because you can buy 20 items of junk that are just trash items to get 20 listings up, but not one of them are desirable. So not one of them is going to sell. So if you go out, spend an hour and you find one good item that's worth selling, you might sell that one good item because it's desirable enough.
Yeah,
It's
that's
better to put up one good listing than 20 trash listings.
for sure. I mean, Emily and I, Zesty and I, we always harp back on our first days starting out. I mean, we were listing crap, like
Mhm.
we were.
Yeah.
So it's just yeah. That's when we started having garage sales and getting all that old stuff
Yep.
out, selling it for a quarter or a dollar.
I'll just donate that stuff now, man.
Oh
I ain't
my
got time
gosh,
for no yard sales, dude.
we just made like I'm talking the trash taxi, which is a Honda Fit for you guys that don't know. We filled
Mhm.
up the Honda Fit like twice over this past
Yeah,
week, man. We donated
just
so
donated it all.
oh yeah, well because it's like we had two garage sales and they were pretty successful, but like
Mhm. The
we had a
leftovers.
we had a lot of the same stuff out both times and it was just like all
Yeah.
right we're well actually no we had three total sales
Mhm.
but yeah so like after the third sale it was like all right it's going
Yep.
it's going
Mhm.
so
Tracy said, I see more often I list my numbers go higher than 1%. I see the more often I list my numbers go higher than 1%. I also see getting positive feedback helps drive sales also. Yeah.
I don't know if the feedback
I don't know.
really
Yeah.
has done that for me but I would not be surprised if that was a factor in the algorithm but maybe at a low percentage.
So I have one negative feedback right now that I just got a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know if it's affected my sales in a negative way. I do know that I want to get the negative feedback removed because eBay has said that good customer service is a metric they use
Really?
when they're determining how much traffic the algorithm will send you.
Okay.
So it does help to have 100% positive feedback. However, it's not going to prevent you from making sales in general, but it couldn't hurt to make more sales if you have 100%.
I mean, I'm in total agreement with that. Like, it would definitely be nicer to have, I'm sure it probably goes in like tiers. Like, I'm sure it's like a one,
Mm,
it's like a
I'd assume.
it's like a 100 to 98% gets X, and then
Yeah.
but we're just, of course,
Well, that's speculation,
that
but
we are speculating here. But I
at the
mean,
same time, though, they do have service metrics. You know what I mean? So,
right,
like, have you ever looked in the Seller Hub where it shows your rating of, like, just, in general of all the sales you made, like what ranking you are?
yeah,
So, I'd assume that that has some, they're keeping tabs on something. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
I feel like, what you said is logical. Whether it's proven fact or not, we can
yeah,
theorize it.
yeah. We definitely, for sure. Steve said, "Do we have an Amazon return store near St. Louis?" We used to.
Well, see, look, the Amazon return store that was down here is literally moved up to St. Louis. They just closed down here a couple of months
No
ago.
way.
So, yeah, so the lady moved out of this town because there was drama between her and the co-owner. So they jumped ship and moved to St. Louis. However, I don't know if they've opened up there yet, but it was
Hmm.
called Dell Bens down here. So you might just want to do a quick Google search of Dell Bens,
Okay.
like Deal, Dell Bens, and see if it's up there. But I'm
Okay.
sure there's got to be one up there. St. Louis is 3 times as big as Cape Girardeau is, and if there was one here, there's got to be 10 up there.
Well, I was gonna say there was one in St. Peter's, which is like a county just outside of
Yeah,
St. Louis.
yeah.
That one is not there anymore. The closest one that
They
I
don't
know
last
of,
long.
yeah, it's weird how that works out. I think it's because they can't keep the stock quality, the
Right, that's exactly what
quality
it
of
is.
goods up.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I know that the store down here, the other co-owner lady had her own eBay store and warehouses full of stuff. So like she's
oh,
keeping all the good stuff. So
yeah, she was
I
cherry
think that
picking.
happens at a lot of them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it only makes sense that as a business owner, you go, I'm letting hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of
Thousands of
merchandise
dollars. Yeah.
walk out the door for a quarter of
Yeah.
what it could be.
Right.
I've already got employees working for me. Why not
Hmm.
employ them in a reselling setting
Yeah.
that's,
Right.
like
And I get
eBay,
it. I
you
get it,
know?
but at the same time, in a turn and burn model, that works well.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
getting pallets in, especially like at the one down here, they were getting pallets in Thursday or Friday and Saturday. They would no, yeah, Friday and Saturday they would get pallets in, right? And then the rest of the week they would trickle it off and they would just get cheaper and cheaper by the day. But I imagine that they're maximizing their profits so much like off of it because the lines would literally be down the block.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you messed up that money train, then that's on you. You know what I mean?
Well, that also may, like you said, that also sounds like it's in between the owners too. So like,
Right.
who knows
Mm,
what was going on there? And I mean,
right. Right. Right.
you probably don't need to be in a co-ownership to run something like that. You could probably do it as I don't know. I don't know their situation, but
Yeah.
either way. What's up, Junk Monkey? Love that
What's up,
name.
Junk Monkey?
I love the
I don't know
icon.
your I don't know your real name, so I can't
Yeah, tell Marcus so he can
I
stalk
can't
you.
go there.
Oh man, Ed was saying. I think she might be saying that if you try to share your link on a channel on Posh Clothing Reseller and someone tries to promote their own closet on their channel, they'll get. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
So,
That
like,
makes
if they're
sense.
watching my video and then comment their YouTube
Yes.
channel in it, I guess
Yeah.
that makes
It would
sense.
be like somebody coming in the live right now and just like self promoting their own
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah, yeah.
channel for reselling.
Yeah, that's kind of
Um,
tacky.
Honestly, if it was a channel about Hot Wheels cars, I would still kind of be offended.
Yeah.
Oh
I
man.
strive to have one more active listing every night than I had the night before. It's harder than it sounds. Um, I can see that.
Yeah.
How new to selling are you? Because when I first got started, it was difficult to grow. I'm not gonna say quickly, but um it was difficult to find items that I felt was worthy of selling, and that's why I ended up switching my method to clothing because I could find clothing in bulk.
Well, I think that's why a lot of people find reselling kind of daunting is like
Mhm.
everybody goes through the learning process of like
Yeah.
learning their niche,
Yep.
and you could watch resellers, you could talk to people, you could do all these different things,
Hmm.
but actually doing it is
Yeah. It's
the
a
way
different
that
story.
you retain that knowledge so much better.
Yep.
You could study a list of like bolo brands and you still might overlook
Yep.
quality or flaws or
Right.
whatever issues,
Hmm.
and like yeah, or different like
Yeah, man.
different variants of clothing. Hi, Tank. What are you
Different
doing?
sizes sell better than other sizes. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that too, for
Yeah.
sure.
So and I got a video coming out in a couple of videos from now, maybe Friday. And it's about reselling and like in general how hard it is. The
Yeah,
easiest part of reselling is finding the stuff. And I know that in the beginning you're like, "Oh, how do I find good stuff? What brands do I sell? What this and what that?" Like, but trust me, once you get it figured out where to get stuff from, finding the stuff is the easiest part of it.
yeah,
There are people out there that have the phrase, "I'm a great buyer." Well, are you a great lister? Because that's the part that makes you the money. You know what I mean? So you can buy and buy and buy and buy it till you're broke. But
yeah,
unless you're listing what you're buying, then it's not really, it's not going to work out for you. With that being said, listing as much as you buy is the hard part. You can buy 10 items and only list one. Now you got a death pile. But then you go back out tomorrow and you go buy 10 more items and then you don't list any. Then you go out the next day, you buy 10 more, then you list two. Now you now you got 3 items listed and you got almost 30 items in a death pile. And it gets daunting. And then in order to get over your stress of having this death pile over here, you go buy more. And then you go buy more and now you're stress buying, you know what I mean? So
and
it's
then
just
you
it.
and then you end up like Miss Pat at the bins with two cartfuls of
Yep.
clothing.
Yep.
Not
Yep.
that I know Miss Pat's situation outside of the bins, but
No,
she's
she
she's always doing the most with
yeah.
her carts.
Definitely. So, you can be a great buyer all you want. You can pick up great items, and reselling it's daunting, as you're learning and as you're growing and stuff. But as long as you understand that the real part of reselling is getting the items listed. So whether you grow by one listing a day or you grow by one listing a month, uh, as long as you're making growth and you're sustainable, you're making the profit margins that you want, you're going to be just fine. Don't worry about growing too fast or, so much that, it cripples you because the growth will happen naturally. You're not always going to list and sell the same amount of items. Even if you're at reseller Nirvana, you can list 10 one day and sell eight, now you're net two listings for that day. Rarely are you going to sell more than what you list. So you'll be fine. It's possible. It doesn't happen all that often unless you're selling like PS5s.
Right. Right. Very, very sought after stuff.
Tiffany said, I got such a bogus negative feedback. The dude said how awesome I packed the item and it would have broken even if it was cast iron. So he's blaming UPS but gave me negative feedback.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
I am hurting for you,
yeah.
Tiffany. That's like I
Did
don't.
you use a negative feedback revision request? Because, you can refund his money and then ask him to revise the feedback. That's an easy fix.
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't even know about that for a long time until Marcus told me. So
Yeah.
definitely go do that. Go do that
Yeah.
because it is something that I wish I knew of earlier on in my
Hmm.
reselling journey. Knock on wood, I have not had any crazy returns lately,
Hmm.
and I haven't had any negative feedback in a while. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
So
you know,
another thing that helps you as well is if you offer free returns, then you get negative feedback protection. Unless it's an INAD, then it's kind of a sticky situation. Like what I'm facing with this person, I sold them some Danskos and they said that they crumbled on them at work the first day that they wore them. So I reached out for like days trying to get, the buyer to give me the chance to get a return. So that way If they opened a return, I would have been able to get the feedback removed. However, they did not open a return, and I just gave them their money back, which disqualifies me from negative feedback protection. Now, you and I were talking about this, and you were like, I feel like if you do it while you're on chat with them or on the phone with them, you should be fine. And I tried that. I was not fine, but the lady assured me that I was fine.
Huh.
I wasn't. Either way it goes, I reached out to the buyer and still no response. So I'm just kind of stuck with the negative feedback.
That's
Uh,
tough.
yeah,
That's tough.
there's ways around it, but I'm not going to put it all out
Yeah.
on live YouTube. You
Yeah.
know, I'll try to get the situation fixed.
Well, either way, like you're still at 99.9%. So like
Yeah.
from not from an algorithm standpoint, but from a buyer standpoint,
Mhm.
I'm still trusting anybody
Right.
that's at a 99.9% feedback.
Right.
You
Well,
know.
I'm trusting somebody with a 98 or a
Yeah,
95, even if I see what the feedback says. If the
exactly.
feedback says something that's like, minute, but the person you could tell was just like not a very kind person, or it's
Very
something
like
that's like very,
ve-
minor or like out of their control kind of
yeah.
situation.
Or like
You
you can
know,
see the person being very stubborn like in
yeah.
the situation, you know.
Yeah,
So,
then I'm willing to give somebody a chance, but
yeah.
I'm also not necessarily checking a buyer's, or a seller's feedback, every time I go to buy something either. I'm not I'm and I probably should check reviews on items that I buy beforehand as well, but I don't really check a lot of that stuff. Uh I kind of just read the description, and if it's what I think that I want, then I'll go ahead and get it. But as far as like, just judging somebody off of their 5-star reviews or something like that, there'd be a lot of things that I wouldn't end up buying. There's things that I bought that I love that don't have 5-star reviews. Like
Yeah.
this Samsung Galaxy 10 here takes amazing photos. I love it. There's things about it I don't like, but overall, I'm satisfied with this as a camera for my eBay business. You know, this phone right here, total garbage. Never would have bought it. You know what I mean? If I'd have known some of the things that I know, but did I read any reviews? No, I did not. But it's
I
also a 3-year-old phone. It's obsolete.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, when it comes to like top of the line electronics, I am doing my homework. That is the one thing I will go out of my way to like check multiple sites, like
Yeah,
not just Amazon reviews. I want like independent blog,
yeah. See, I ain't doing none of that.
I want YouTube videos.
Mm,
I like, I go the full gamut on that stuff.
mm.
But if it
See,
was
but I
like
don't,
if
I
it
don't
was like a
have those
shirt,
types of devices.
I mean that's fair. But
Mm.
still,
Yeah, a
I mean,
shirt's a shirt.
a shirt's a shirt. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's why we like reselling clothing, because
yeah,
a shirt is a shirt. But of course, people will always find a way to send you an INAD.
of course. Yeah, I
Always.
used a clothing tape measure instead of a yardstick.
Wild. What world do you live in where an inch is different on either one of those? Like
I don't know. Tracy said, I've seen my sales dip a bit when I got negative feedback. It affected me more when I had less items listed. I see when I get a lot of feedback, I get a little more action in my store. I get about 10 positive feedback a day. I don't really know how that affects my store.
hmm.
Uh, I'm not really sure, honestly. Um,
I've always thought that getting a return has got me definitely like shadow banned on items before,
really.
or at least maybe like shadow banned in certain categories. Like
Mm.
if somebody returns a video game, like they shadow ban me in that category, because like I feel like
If your return rate gets high, yeah, that happens.
no, I feel like if it's just one return, I feel
Really.
like my sales just dip. Like I
I
don't
think
know.
that's just, you're speculating, honestly.
It could be
You know,
like it totally
we
could
kind of
be.
do that.
But as somebody who like as sellers, we notice these patterns, and
Yeah.
so like Tiffany was saying, like if she's noticing this pattern where like she gets a negative feedback and her stuff dips, like that could be true. If I get one return, and my sales dip, that could be true. But
Yeah.
either way, I mean, eBay is probably setting up these, these things, not probably, they are setting up these things so that we can provide the best customer experience
Exactly.
under their umbrella. So,
Right, because they spend millions of dollars to attain one buyer. And so they want to
yeah,
do everything they can to deliver the best shopping experience for that buyer. So when matching the buyer up with the seller of the item they're looking for, there's going to be tons of metrics and tons of things the algorithm looks at
for sure.
to match those people up.
For sure.
So that makes sense where customer service metrics would be one of the top priorities because you can have a good item, but if you are repetitively delivering a bad buying experience, you're not going to get any sales. You could be
Yeah.
selling the best
You're
of items.
you're page 2,
Yeah,
on the,
maybe page 4.
yeah, you're page 4 on the rarest video game,
Yeah,
like,
on best match selection.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So, Hillary said, I tend to over research my purchases because I grew up in poverty and always had to
that
be
makes
extremely
sense.
careful with money. That makes total sense. That makes total sense. Yeah. Um, I did the spray and pray method for so long. I mean, like, Hillary knows. Like, I mean, she's been watching our videos for a long time. Like,
Mhm.
I was I was buying stuff just because there was 2 sold listings. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't care about sell through or anything like that.
I didn't know about sell through.
Exactly. I didn't either. I didn't either. So, yeah. I don't
Now
know.
there's things that I'll buy just based on the look of it.
Sure.
After selling thousands of items of clothes, I'll look at a shirt and be like, "Oh, that looks cool,"
Yep.
or like,
I
"Oh, that graphic's neat,"
Yep.
like, "Let me pick this up and just see," like, and I won't even look it up.
Yep.
Half of the like I said, I've said this a bunch of times before. My videos, I look that up for the content. I don't need to look these items up anymore. You know what I
Right.
mean? Now, if I haven't heard of a brand before, then I'll look it up. But for the most part, I'm picking up things that I've already sold a few times. So based on either previous experience selling said item or just knowing that the brand name holds weight, I can pick things up, or based off the look, it looks like something that I've sold before. You know what I mean? So I've had success that way. But I look that stuff up on video just for content,
For
because
sure.
there's people out there, it's their first day selling clothing and they need to know this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, like, that's just seller's intuition, though. Like, I got a shirt today that
Mhm.
just, the quality was, that it felt good. It
Yep.
had a good graphic, but I'd never heard of the brand. And,
Right.
like, it might be a slow seller, but
Mhm.
still, I mean, it's going to be like a $30 to $40 bill,
Right.
for like a
So
for like
now
an,
then,
80-cent investment.
now that you're selling clothing, I just found out, was it this morning? Maybe it was yesterday morning, that Led Zeppelin is a Vero. So
Yeah, that's a we should talk about that really quick before we peace out of here.
yeah, Led Zeppelin, I believe it's all of the newer items, like the Led Zeppelin brand, like remakes that are in the stores right now, don't list them. If you're selling like a Led Zeppelin legit vintage tee, you're probably a bit more on the safe side. But I know that they just handed out this guy. I think he only had like 20 shirts listed. He got from Kohl's, and they were new with tags, so it could be new with tags Led Zeppelin too. But if I was you, and you're finding this item somewhere, I would just pass on it. No matter how cool it looks, it's not worth the potential millions of dollars that your eBay account is worth to sell a $10, $20 item. So, I mean, if you got a Poshmark account or an eBay or a Facebook marketplace, or Mercari, sell it there. Don't list it on eBay. It's not worth it.
That's actually a good idea. That I always forget about, honestly, is selling it on another platform.
Yeah.
Of course, we all kind of hail eBay as the king, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but what I bet happened was, some company probably bought the IP, the intellectual property of the designs that
Mhm.
like the Led Zeppelin did, and
It
then
was Sony.
they just, oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I wonder
Yeah.
I wonder why they're being so grabby about that.
I have no clue,
But
bro.
either way, I mean, you find all these, like, Led Zeppelin styled shirts now at your Targets, your Kohl's, or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like they had to have had some mass selling thing where they want to keep all that profit,
Right.
in those stores, in
Yep.
those aforementioned stores. So yeah, yeah,
Just be careful with it, guys.
for sure. Yeah.
Hillary said her sales noticeably dip whenever she gets a return too. I don't know. Like I said, I
Uh,
got 8 returns right now, and I made 2 sales during this live, so I'm not really sure how much it affects
I don't know.
uh sales. Just sell more items. The more items you sell, honestly, trust me, the more items you sell, the less those things matter.
No, for
You know what
sure.
I mean?
I feel like
And
that's
it's not
also
on a
true.
personal level. That's like literally on a business level. Like Tech and Sports, he sells 250 items a day. Probably gets at least 20 returns a day. You know what I mean? But he
Yeah.
sells so many items that it doesn't affect his metrics. He
Right.
can get thousands of iNads and literally it will not change his metrics at all because he sells thousands of items a month.
Well,
You
you
know
have
what I
to
mean?
think about like the people who sell on eBay that sell battery covers. Okay, they're
Yeah.
probably selling thousands of battery covers
How
a
many are they
day,
getting a day
and
returned?
they're probably getting around the same amount. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like if when you're doing that volume, it's going to
Yep.
be a negligible thing.
Yep.
So,
Definitely makes
yep,
up
yep,
for it.
yep. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us.
Yep.
Be sure to check us out next week on Marcus's channel. Go over
Yep.
there
No, not
and
next week. Next week I got
oh,
something to do.
okay.
I meant to tell you sooner.
No,
I got an
no,
event I got to go to
it's
in
all
like the
good.
Ozarks.
Okay, well, there you
So,
go, guys. No podcast
so the
next week.
following week will be on my channel.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. And don't forget to hit that Discord link down below.
Yep.
Go check us out there. It's absolutely free. We don't charge anything to join the Hoorah Rah in there where we talk about reselling, life, collecting, whatever.
Sales,
Yeah,
YouTube, everything.
everything. So come check us out there. Also, don't forget if you would like a channel of yours or somebody you know to feature in the channel blow up that we do every week, be sure to hit that Good Pickins subsection of the Discord and post the
Yep.
link there.
Yep.
Anything else?
Nope. Video will not be at 7 tomorrow. It'll be at 3. I'm testing the vidIQ's recommendations of when to post my videos.
Cool,
So 3 o'clock tomorrow.
cool. Alrighty, guys. Yep, video tomorrow at 7 a.m. for me, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Alrighty, guys. Peace out.